Hello, 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 everybody. No makeup on. It actually is 12:29 a.m. on February 28th, and I've got a little thing of ice cream, butter crunch, which is very delicious. I want to talk to you about a couple of things that I'm doing. I had like so many questions. We're going to bring the calculator out about GigSpot. And you know, GigSpot is where they have mystery phone calls. You don't pay for anything, it doesn't cost you anything. And the calls range anywhere from asking two questions, so a couple minutes, to going through a scenario, which could take 10 to 15 minutes. So they are like, well, the pay varies a lot. So if you're doing a 2 minute call, you're going to get $3, $4, $5 for that. If you're doing a 10 to 15 minute call, of course, you're doing 8, 10, 15, $20 an hour. Not an hour, but per call. So they're like, well, Becky, how do you organize this so that I'm making some money like you do with Prolific and Paid Viewpoint and all those others? So let's take it at the very cheapest, like the low end pay call. Okay, so this is the bare bones of what you could be making. So what I normally do is I go ahead and shop 15 calls before I get more calls. So 15 times 3, that's $45. And you'll do that 5 days a week, which is $225 a week. That is part-time job right there. We're not even talking about Prolific being added onto that. We're not talking about let me get my other calculator up. We're not talking about anything else. So Prolific, you're doing $10 a day minimum. $10 a day, just doing a few surveys, and that's $50 a week. Plus your 15 calls a day, and we're talking bare minimum. Most of my calls pay 5, 6, 7, $8. I've done a $20 call, but I'm saying if you can get nothing else but the $3 two question calls, you're like, you know what, girl? I'm trying to do this a little bit before work, maybe on break, maybe on lunch, maybe a little after work. I ain't trying to do a 10, 15-minute call. I just want to ask a couple questions, get some money. That's the kind of setup we're talking about with this. So you're looking at $275 a week times 4 weeks, which is $1,100 extra a month for making some phone calls and filling out some surveys. Come on now. Listen, a lot of you all are coming to me and you're like, Becky, I ain't got a job. Becky, I've been looking forever. Becky, I've been paying for these resumes, which you better not be doing. Especially with Earn Better doing it for free with an AI. And you're like, Becky, I have no money. GigSpot don't care who you are. They don't care about your background. There ain't no background check. You just calling and asking people. Like sometimes I do vet calls, and those are usually about $5, $4 or $5. You make up a dog or make up a cat, and you're like, "Hey, I just bought Roger, and he's a blah 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 blah, and I need him checked out." And they're like, "Oh, okay." And you take the person's name. Can they check the dog out within the next 48 hours? And a couple of questions, and that's it. $5. Now you're asking, Becky, do they have enough phone calls? Let me tell you something. Yesterday morning, on the 27th of February, they had 700 plus phone shops. They sit there and they do them in batches. So they're going to do a bunch, let them go down, do a bunch, let them go down, do a bunch, let them go down. You can pick up whatever you want. So here's the flow of how you do things. You've signed up, okay, and you've downloaded the app on your phone. You're going to do this mostly through your computer, the certifications or whatever. Some have certifications, and they're like, if somebody calls and doesn't give you their name, can you ask for it? Questions like that, okay? Now, you're not going to get all of them. I don't because some are a little more intensive. The $10, $20 ones are a little more intensive certifications. I just got the easy ones. And then you're going to see a bunch of web and phone jobs. You're going to click that link and it's going to pop up pages and pages and pages. So you're going to say, okay, I feel like doing a $5 phone call. So you're going to look for $5, click some $5 links, and you'll be like, it'll pop up a general, like, you're going to call this type of business sort of stuff. And you'll be like, okay, yeah, I feel like calling a vet, or I feel like calling the rental company, I feel like calling the sports company, I feel like this, I feel like, yeah, I kind of like that. Sure. Click it. Now that's your application to take the job. Now, usually within a few hours or half a day, you'll know if you got accepted for it for that week. So, the start of Sunday, Monday for that week, they'll start pulling out, oh, these jobs show up in your jobs page. And then after that happens, after you've been accepted, you'll go to your jobs page, you'll get an email, you'll get a notification on your phone, and you'll click accept. So the job ain't yours until you accept it. So you've applied, they've approved, and then you accept. So once you've accepted it, and the great thing is, once you're in the application process, once you're like, oh, do I want to do this job? So kind of going back a little bit, it'll give you dates. It'll say, can you do it on this date, this date, this date? And you pick the date that you're going to make the phone call. So you're not locked in on a date. So, for example, maybe I don't want to do calls Thursdays. I just don't pick those dates. So you have control over when you'll be making those calls. And they might say, can you do it with, and they're in all time zones with across the US. So remember your time zone. Sometimes you'll be calling in your time zone, sometimes you'll be calling in the business's time zone. So just kind of be aware. It'll give you instructions. And it'll either give you scenarios or a little web form on your computer, not so much the phone, but the computer, to fill out and type in a name and stuff like that. Now, how do you make your phone calls? Good question. They'll give you a number that you're going to call on your cell phone and a PIN number. So you're going to call the number. They're going to say, thank you for calling, blah, blah, blah. Please input your PIN. Input your PIN, connecting, and then they'll have a fake number that your phone number will be masked. But in the instructions, it'll have a fake phone number that you give them if they ask for a phone number. And you'll just do your name or a fake name or fake email or just whatever. Um, so and then they pay. So how do they pay? Usually PayPal. And they don't pay out immediately, it's twice a month. Usually, not each company, because GigSpot is a platform for multiple mystery shop companies. So each company, you'll go under companies, click the company name that you're working for. Like I work for two of them mainly. And it'll say we pay on this date and this date. So my company pays on the 7th and the 22nd, the main one that I work for. So shops done between this date and this date pay on the 7th. Shops done between this date and this date pay on the 22nd. All paid through PayPal. So after you do your call, it goes to the mystery shop company. They're going to listen to it to make sure that you did a good mystery shop, approve it, and then you'll be able to see under companies approved, how much, and then it'll go to PayPal. And rinse and repeat. So I don't wait. I do about 5 to 15 calls a day and then just kind of move on, move on, move on. And that's also in addition to other gigs. So if you get burnt out, you can take some time off if you're doing this and doing that. But listen, between that and Prolific alone, you're talking about $1,100 a month. Now come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. I'm seeing you over there. Now, listen, if you can't spend $1,100 a month, I will drop my PayPal and you can send me the money, okay? um, Everybody can use a little bit more money because I just did a video where we're talking about all these federal jobs being restructured and closed and these private sector jobs being restructured and closed. You got to have them backup gigs, you got to diversify. Listen, I'm telling everybody about GigSpot. I don't get a referral money. I don't do this, don't do that. I just want you to put some money in your pocket. GigSpot link is down below. Have a good one.